we're going to look at how to apply this quadratic formula to solving quadratic equations. So remember, the solution to ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is given by the formula x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Remember, a, b, and c are the coefficients on that quadratic equation. So here we have an example. We want to solve 3x squared plus x minus 3 equals to 0. So the first step you want to do, make sure it's in standard form with everything to one side and 0 on the other side, just like up here, the standard form. The second thing is you want to identify your a, b, and c. So what are a, b, and c? Well, a is 3, b is 1, and c is negative 3. 3, 1, the coefficient on x is the b, and the constant is going to be c, which is negative 3. So that's my a, b, and c. The second step now, or the third step, is to plug these numbers into the formula. So if we plug them into the formula, what we're going to have is x equal negative b, so negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 1 squared, minus 4 times a times c. 4 times 3 times c, c is negative 3. So 4 times 3 times negative 3, all over 2 times a. What is a again? A is 3, so 2 times 3. So there we've plugged the numbers, make sure you plug them in correctly, into the formula, and now you have to evaluate this formula. So the first thing is to look at the square root and simplify that. What are we going to have? We're going to have a 1 squared, which is 1. We're going to have a negative 4 times a 3, which is negative 12. And a negative 12 times a negative 3 gives me a 36, a plus 36. So actually this here is going to be a plus 36. Okay, let's write that out. So I have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 plus 36, 4 times 3 times 3, 36, divided by 2 times 3, which is 6. And now what is 1 plus 36? 37. And so our solution is negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 37 over 6. Now, you actually have two solutions here. You have negative 1 plus root 37 over 6 and negative 1 minus root 37 over 6. So just to make a note of that. So we have these two solutions here. And you always want to check your solutions by putting these values back into the equation for x and expanding it and making sure that the left side does actually in fact equal 0. So a little bit of algebra there involved when you check the solutions to make sure they actually work. Let's take another example. In this example, we're asked to solve 2x squared minus 9x equals 5. And first of all, we have to verify this is a quadratic equation. It is, because there's an x squared. That's the highest power here on the variable. And we're going to use the quadratic formula again. Now remember, the quadratic formula can only be used if it's in standard form. So I have a 5 on my right side. I have to shift that 5 over to the left side. So what do? I subtract 5 from both sides to get 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 equals 0. And now again, we have to identify our a, b, and c. A equals 2, b equals negative 9, c equals negative 5. And we're going to plug these numbers into the formula. So we'll have x equal negative b, negative 9. Well, negative 9 was actually plus 9. We'll write that, so actually this is a plus 9. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. b is negative 9 squared, minus 4ac, minus 4 times 2 times negative 5, 4ac, all over 2 times a, 2 times 2. So we want to simplify. First go for the root. This is going to be 81 minus 4 times 2 times negative 5. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. And since you have a negative times a negative here, we're going to have a plus 40. So we're going to have an 81 plus 40 here. And 81 plus 40 is 121. So we have 9 plus or minus the square root of 121 over 2 times 2 is... Now, sometimes you can actually square root underneath the square root here. We can. What is the square root of 121? It's 11. So we can replace this with an 11 to have 9 plus or minus 11 over 4. So my solutions are 9 plus 11 over 4 and 9 minus 11 over 4. So we can actually work these out. 9 plus 11 is 20. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. So that's one solution. And then 9 minus 11 is negative 2. And negative 2 divided by 4 is negative 1/2. So we have actually two solutions. X is 5 and x is negative 1/2. And again, we should check these solutions to make sure that they work in the equations. Check to make sure when I plug 5 in, I get 0 here, and when I plug negative 1/2, I get 0 as well.